And welcome back to On Cue, our little informal chat while everybody's stuck inside. Thought we'd educate all of us about some of the important organizations and some of the important businesses in our region and give us a little insight into what makes our region so special here at KSMQ Public Television. I'm joined now by Ed Hahn in Wabasha. Ed is marketing manager for the National Eagle Center. And we've done stories on the center. Welcome, Ed.
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, and you'd probably rather be outside with some binoculars than sitting in your house.
Well, always, especially this time of year. But we're making do at this point. I've gotten out for a few walks around the neighborhood, and so can't complain too much.
Tell us a little bit about the National Eagle Center. I'm sure many folks have been there, but some have not. What's it all about?
Yeah, well, the National Eagle Center has been around. We're in our 31st year as an organization, 21st year of actually having a physical building or location for people to come and visit. And I think what we're about is really best encapsulated by the mission statement, and that is connecting people with bald eagles and nature, history, and cultures. And that's really what we do and what we provide our visitors and our followers on social media and the like. It's an experience where, when you're able to visit, you're able to get very, very close to live bald eagles as you're learning about them in a very unique setting, and that's an experience that you won't find anywhere else. You might be able to see live eagles at a zoo or an aviary, but the way that you meet them and are presented and learn about them at the National Eagle Center is wholly unique.
How did it get started? Who were the visionaries back 31 years ago that you said who got it going in Wabasha? Why?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the reason that the National Eagle Center is in Wabasha, Minnesota, of all places, is because of the winter bald eagle viewing that happens there. Now, back in the middle part of the 20th century, that was a big deal because, as we educate about at the National Eagle Center, bald eagles were critically endangered for a number of decades, and that really stemmed from the widespread use of DDT in the environment. And so, their numbers dwindled substantially, basically from the 50s really up through the 80s, and then the recovery started really kind of in earnest. And they were delisted from the endangered species list in 2007. But during that period of critical endangerment, that was a period of time when if somebody saw a bald eagle out in the wild, like you remembered that, you probably, could remember the day or where you were. It was a big deal because they just were not as widespread as they once were and as they are now once again. And Wabasha was actually one of the last places you could go in the lower 48 United States in the wintertime and reliably see bald eagles. It's a natural congregation point for them in the wintertime. That portion of the Mississippi River tends to have open water all winter long. And because their primary food source is fish, they will naturally gather in and around the Wabasha area. And so bird enthusiasts and eagle enthusiasts during, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they would regularly come there because they knew they could go there and see bald eagles. And so they would go there, they'd bring their friends, they'd bring their birding colleagues. And so one thing kind of led to the next. And in 1989, that kind of informal group of bird watchers and eagle watchers formed what is now the legal entity of Eagle Watch, Inc. And that is the public or the legal entity of the National Eagle Center.
I don't have any information to this point, but I'm certain that the work that you and others have done there helped raise the profile of the issue and probably got people thinking more about how we have to help these raptors.
Yeah, I would say, the work that we do, not so much helping them to recover at the time. But I think a critical and important part of what we do now is telling that story and making sure that the lessons of conservation that we've learned through the conservation of bald eagles and their dramatic recovery from the brink of extinction. We can take those lessons and apply those to lots of other, endangered animals and species that we have now. We can apply that to environmental issues in general, which we do. And so that's really a center point of the educational experience that we offer the school children that visit us or who we travel to at their schools, and the visitors that we get from around the world every year. And it's a story that we find is very meaningful for people, not simply because things like climate change or environmental issues are important now, but bald eagles are the national symbol of our nation. And so we find that there's lots of different groups across demographics, across age groups, that are really inspired by meeting the eagle ambassadors and just eagles in general. People like veterans who come and visit, they have a very special connection to bald eagles, having served in the armed forces. And we see that very prominently, and a lot of times almost immediately, when a veteran walks into the room where the birds live, and they have that up close experience. It's very emotional. It's a very deep connection that they feel. Same thing with Native Americans who come and visit the center. That's a spiritual animal for them. Eagles are very central to their spiritual life. And we enjoy a very good working relationship with the Prairie Island Indian community up in Red Wing. Wabasha is actually the ancestral summer home for that tribe, for that people. And so they're big supporters of the National Eagle Center, and we enjoy a very good working relationship with them. But again, we're educating about, what does the eagle mean to their people? What is the history and the symbolism of the bald eagle to American culture and society? So again, going back to the mission statement, and I think that really does encapsulate it, we're connecting people to eagles in nature, history, and cultures every single day.
What are the main attractions at the center? Are there what exhibits and how many eagles and so on?
Yeah, so I would say that the stars of the show really are the live eagle ambassadors that we care for at the National Eagle Center. We currently have 4 bald eagles, and we have one red-tailed hawk in residence that's as a training bird for any of our staff or volunteers who are learning to handle bald eagles. We're very well known for our classroom program, and that when we're open, which we look forward to being again once the pandemic dies down here. But that's one thing that we're very well known for. Anyone who's come to the center in the past and been able to go to the public classroom program that we have, in the future, if they come back, they're always calling ahead. Yeah, what time is your classroom program? We enjoyed it last time. We have friends who are coming or family who are going to be in town, and we really want them to see that. That's about a 45-minute program that, it covers a lot of different topics. It's very engaging and interactive with the audience, a lot of Q&A going on. And the highlight for people is always that we bring in one of the Eagle ambassadors into the classroom on the handler's glove and feed them their lunch right in front of the audience. So it's a great photo opportunity, but it's something that people are interested in. It's not something they see every day, and they get to see it pretty up close. It's not like you're out, parked along the side of the highway and you're looking out 200 yards to see an eagle sitting on the nest. Like, you're literally just a few feet away. And it's a very a magical experience for a lot of people, and certainly a memorable experience. So
that's wonderful. Well, Ed, thank you very much. Your website address is nationaleaglecenter.org, and I'm sure when you are back up, you'll have the information on there as far as times and when folks can come in. Not that you need another reason to go to Wabasha, because right. It's such a beautiful city. But definitely check out the National Eagle Center.
Well, I'll leave you with this too, Eric. Right now, because we are closed, we've moved a lot of our programming online, and so we are offering daily online programs both on Facebook and YouTube that people can basically every day they can tune in, they can see the new content and go check that out, so you can experience the National Eagle Center even though we are temporarily closed.
Hey, that's wonderful. Great tip. Okay, Ed, well, stay safe, and thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Stay well.
All right. That's Ed Hahn, Marketing Manager with the National Eagle Center in Wabasha. For now, I'm Eric Olson with this On Cue special. We'll see you next time.